Hello brothers, I hope you all are happy and healthy. Today I am talking about Demon Slayer Season 3 Episode 11. Without wasting any time we will start Episode 11. Let's start brothers. Season 3 Episode 11, whose name is The Connected Bonds, Daybreak and First Light. So far we have seen that Mitsuri was fighting an equal battle with Zahakuten. And Tanjiro had also found the real body of Hantengu. But the Hantengu disappears from there and starts running again. Tanjiro goes after him and thinks that how selfish are demons and how helpless are human beings. But still we will not give up. Now Genya angrily uproots a tree and throws it at Hantengu. But Hantengu escapes from them. After that Genya uproots many trees and throws them on Hantengu. But he escapes from all of them. Now Nezuko again attacks on Hantengu with his paw. But Hantengu again escapes, and then starts running faster. Now Genya and Nezuko were tired of following Hantengu. Now Tanjiro thinks how they will kill this demon, because it will be morning soon. And Mitsuri will also be tired of fighting with Zahakuten. And if sun rises then all the demons will leave from here. So they have to kill them as soon as possible. But Hantengu was not taking the name of stopping. And Tanjiro's feet also started hurting. But only then he remembers the words of Zenitsu that when he using thunder breathing, he keeps all his concentration on his feet. If we keep all our concentration towards our feet, then we can control every muscle fiber in our feet. This was told by his master. Realizing this now, Tanjiro puts all his concentration on his one leg and reaches right behind the Hantengu with the speed of lightning. Now Tanjiro, without losing time, attacks Hantengu with his sword, on which Hantengu crying and said him, "Have mercy on me." Now as soon as he says this, Hantengu's body becomes huge and he clutching Tanjiro's face with his hands. He said Tanjiro, not to disturb the weak. Now the demon tries to crush Tanjiro's mouth with his hand. But just then Genya comes and tries to save Tanjiro from the demon and tells the demon how double-minded he is. As soon as he says this, the demon tries to do sonic blast on both of them. But then Nezuko pours her blood on the demon and sets demon on fire with her blood demon art. Then Genya uproots both the hands of that demon and frees Tanjiro. But he gets scared by Nezuko's blood demon art, because he also ate part of the demon, due to which the fire works on him too. And Tanjiro starts cutting Hantengu's neck again. So Hantengu jumps down the hill with Tanjiro. Nezuko also jumps inside the hill to save Tanjiro. Nezuko then faints downstairs. Hantengu starts running again, and Tanjiro's sword is still hanging around his neck. Hantengu had overused his power, because of which he was not able to heal himself. He needed to eat humans to increase his powers. That's when he starts smelling of humans. Then we see Tanjiro while falling down. He hanging onto a branch. Tanjiro shouts loudly to Hantengu that, "I will not let you escape. I will follow you to the depths of hell." Hantengu starts running faster. Then Hantengu thinks that once he eats human, then he will easily kill this child. Just then he sees the people of the village hiding behind the stone in the distance. They were swordsmiths. They hide here with swords. Just then Hantengu goes towards them and says that one of those three, a girl's, was a demon who bothered me a lot. Then Tanjiro comes down and sees Nezuko lying unconscious. Then he again tries to reach the demon using the same technique. But then someone calls his name, and then a sword falls in front of him. It was the same sword that Haganezuka had taken to polish. Then Muchiro's voice comes from a distance, who tells Tanjiro to use it. Then Haganezuka refuses, and saying that there is still a lot of work to be done in it. But Muchiro says that it will be morning soon. Use it quickly, until demon escapes. But then Haganezuka hits his head with a punch that makes Muchiro unconscious. Kotetsu thinks that Haganezuka has killed Muchiro. But Kanamori tells Kotetsu that he may have fainted because of the poison. Muchiro sees many demon slayers in his dream, and among them he sees Tanjiro in the last. And he says that all have feelings attached to the sword. Tanjiro then thanks Muchiro and using the same technique. He uses sun breathing technique. and his mark also comes on Tanjiro's head. Then he cuts Hantengu's head with one slash. After that Tanjiro becomes happy, because he had cut off the head of the main body, and only then the rays of the sun also started coming out. Tanjiro is horrified to see this, as they were all in an open field, and if sunlight fell on Nezuko, she would burn. Thinking of this, Tanjiro starts running towards Nezuko, and said Nezuko to hide somewhere, but due to tiredness, he cannot say. And seeing Tanjiro in this condition, Nezuko starts coming towards him. Seeing this, Tanjiro runs towards her to hide her somewhere, and as soon as he reaches her, Nezuko starts pointing back to her. Seeing this, when Tanjiro looks back, he finds that Hantengu is still alive and follow the villagers. But when he looks at the severed head of the Hantengu, his tongue has resentment written on it, while the real Hantengu's tongue should have fear written on it. Or Tanjiro understands that he was not cut the head of real demon's body. Seeing this, Tanjiro prepares to attack again on demon. But then the sun's rays start falling on Nezuko, which causing her face, her hands, and the rest of her body to burn. Tanjiro hugs Nezuko and tells her to be small. But if Tanjiro saves Nezuko, until then demon will kill the villagers. Now Tanjiro had two choices, either to save his sister, or the villagers, as Genya was hanging in the far mountain, and Muchiro was unconscious. There was no one here to help Tanjiro. Tanjiro was not able to understand now, whether he should save his sister or the villagers from those demons. He was not able to take any decision. Then Nezuko kicks Tanjiro away. She wanted Tanjiro to save the villagers even if it meant Nezuko's death. Then Tanjiro remembers the day Nezuko became a demon, and remembers the rest of the moments. But now Tanjiro will lose Nezuko forever, and Nezuko's body keeps on burning, and she closes her eyes. Seeing this, tears come from Tanjiro's eyes. After this he runs towards the demon. He was getting to know from the smell that the demon is somewhere around here, and after a little more concentration, Tanjiro comes to know that the real Hantengu is hidden in the heart of this big body. And as soon as it is known, Tanjiro cuts that body in the middle. The real Hantengu comes out, and Tanjiro losing without time, he starts slitting the real Hantengu's neck with his sword. Only then are we shown the backstory of the Hantengu. A man was accusing Hantengu of stealing to do the two at a good man's house, and this man was blind. But Hantengu was refusing him and pretending to be blind. Hantengu had a bad habit of stealing. Hantengu says that it is not his fault. It is the fault of his hands. But the man still goes to report the Hantengu. Then Hantengu stabs him to death. After that Hantengu is then presented in front of magistrate. The magistrate says that Hantengu is accused of a murder and a theft. But Hantengu says that he cannot do it because he is blind. But the magistrate knew that he was lying, otherwise how could he have talked in the direction in which the magistrate was sitting. After this Hantengu's lie is caught, and he is sentenced to death by hanging. But a day before that, Muzan comes to meet Hantengu. After this Muzan makes Hantengu a demon. Then Hantengu reaches out to kill the magistrate. But before dying the magistrate tells the Hantengu that the day will definitely come when you will pay the price of your sins with this cheap life. Hantengu wonders why he can see all this. But then Tanjiro slits his neck, after which Hantengu turns to dust and flew away. After that Tanjiro falls down there and starts crying, and says that we won. But Nezuko was killed. By now even his bones must have turned to dust. Tanjiro says how far he came here to make Nezuko human. But then we see someone coming towards Tanjiro. The villagers tell Tanjiro to look behind. When Tanjiro looks back, he is shocked because it is Nezuko. Tanjiro sees that nothing is happening to Nezuko anymore in the sun. She is absolutely fine, and she is even talking now. Nezuko utters the first word from her mouth after so many days, which is good morning. The villagers then take Tanjiro to Nezuko. Tanjiro sees that Nezuko is now able to talk like a human. Then Tanjiro hugs Nezuko, and Genya smiles at them. After that Tanjiro faints due to exhaustion. Now we are shown the time of some time ago, when Mitsuri was fighting with the Zahakuten. She was tired of fighting, and a dragon put her inside his mouth. But then we see that the Zahakuten is flying away like ashes. Mitsuri realizes that Tanjiro has beheaded the main demon's body. After this we see that Muzan was living with a family, by taking the form of a child. When in that family his mother and maid bring tea for him. They comes inside and sees that Muzan has thrown away all the books. Because Muzan had learned that Nezuko can live in the sun, he was surprised to see how a demon could live in the sun. It didn't happen till today. Muzan then thanks Hantengu for the information. Mother then asks what happened to him. But in the blink of an eye the mother's head disappears. Seeing this the maid wonders what happened, and the Muzan says that he no longer needs the blue spider lily. He has been around for thousands of years. He has been making people demons with his blood. And this girl who is not even a 12 years old, and not even a Kizuki, has won over sun. Now he can become immortal by eating this girl. This means that there will be no weakness near the Muzan, and he will be able to survive even in the sun. As soon as he says this, Muzan starts coming in his real form. Seeing this the maid screams, and Muzan kills her too, and starts leaving from here. After this, we are shown the backstory of Muzan, which happened about 1000 years ago, in which Muzan used to be human. It was about the Heian period. Then a doctor brings some medicines for Muzan. Muzan had some kind of disease due to which he would die when he became 20 years. And the doctor also used to bring different medicines for Muzan, so that he could keep Muzan alive for a long time. But Muzan did not trust the doctor's medicines. That is why one day when the doctor brings medicines for Muzan, Muzan kills the doctor with a knife on his head, which results in the death of the doctor. But then Muzan learns that the doctor's last medicine has worked, and Muzan has become not just right, but also more powerful than before. But after this Muzan realizes that he cannot go in the sun anymore. If he goes in the sun, he will be killed. Muzan slowly starts feeling hungry too, because of which he starts eating humans. Those who tried to stop Muzan, Muzan killed them all. Muzan was now immortal, but he could not go out during the day, which was a shame, as Muzan used to get very angry. Muzan wanted a body so that it could go out even during the day. Muzan also checked the medical formulas of that doctor, but he also did not know how to make blue spider lily. Then he thought that this medicine is made from the flower of blue spider lily. But he did not even know where these flowers grow, and who knew that Muzan had killed that doctor. Muzan needs only two things to become immortal: either blue spider lily or a demon who can survive even in sunlight. But now his search is over. Nezuko, which can survive even in the sun. Now all Muzan has to do is eat Nezuko. After that he will become perfect. Then after some time Muchiro asks how is Tanjiro. Tanjiro thanks for giving sword to Muchiro. But Muchiro says thanks to Tanjiro, because of him only his memories came back. But he didn't understand one thing, that how Nezuko is alive in the sun. Just then Nezuko arrives fuming with anger, and asks where his sword is. Tanjiro says that he killed an upper demon with it. After that he doesn't know about it. Then a villager says that he had taken his sword. Nezuko thinks Tanjiro has broken the sword again. After this he starts running after Tanjiro, and Nezuko starts running away with Tanjiro. But Mitsuri comes there, and Mitsuri hugs Genya and Muchiro, and starts crying, because they all won. Genya turns red with shame. Mitsuri is surprised to see that Nezuko was able to talk now. After seeing this Mitsuri becomes more happy. But Tanjiro says that its teeth and horn are still like demon. But he is happy that she is alive. After that we see Tamayo thanking Tanjiro to send the blood of Nezuko and 12 Kizuki, because the man who was made demon by Muzan is completely cured now. Because of Nezuko's blood, he will have to drink some blood. But he's no longer under Muzan's control. There is a mutation in Nezuko's blood, due to which the composition of her blood keeps on changing all the time. She also wonders why Nezuko always remains in her child form. Perhaps there is something more important in his mind than this. After writing this letter, Tamayo calls Yushiro and asks him to call Chachamaru, the cat to whom Tanjiro used to send blood samples. Tamayo then puts the letter in the cat's bag, and cat disappears from there and walks towards Tanjiro. Tamayo also felt that Nezuko would win over the sun in the future. After that, the next day all the people of the village start repairing the village. Kotetsu tells the chief that Tanjiro wants to say goodbye to them, as he is going back. Kotetsu then wakes up Tanjiro. Tekken thanks Tanjiro. Tanjiro says that he did not do this work alone, but other people also cooperated in this. Nezuko was also sleeping in her box. The chief sees that Haganezuka is secretly watching him. He then calls Haganezuka to him. Haganezuka was still angry with Tanjiro to use his sword. Hearing this, Tanjiro thanks him. Haganezuka then says that he will polish it well and send it to the butterfly mansion. After that, Tanjiro is handed over to Kakushi. Kakushi states that Tanjiro will be taken back just the same. Tanjiro is then blindfolded and nose plugs inserted as he came here. But as soon as it goes some distance there, she opens the strip and the plug. When Tanjiro looks up, he learns that the whole village came to say goodbye and thank you to Tanjiro. After this, Kakushi continues to take Tanjiro like this until the village disappears. And with that, our episode and our season 3 Swordsmith Village arc end here. I hope you all liked the episode and the explanation. Do tell in the comments that how did you like this explanation and this season. Thank you.